Welcome to the Empowered Leader Podcast, where bold, marginalized voices rise and get amplified, and the people who champion them step fully into their power. I'm Margaret Williams, your leadership coach and energy builder, here to fuel your growth with real talk, elevated strategies, and unapologetic empowerment. If you're ready to break limits, disrupt the norm, and lead with purpose that actually moves people, let's dive in.
We are live. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Adris. Hi, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here today with each and every one of you. Okay? And as people come in, I'm going to turn off my notifications. Okay? I apologize for not. Yeah, I apologize for not doing that in advance because we want to be present for each and every one of you. Okay?
No worries.
Absolutely. Thank you, Adris.
Hola.
Yes. So today I'm here. This is Margaret Williams. I'm the publisher of the Empowered Leader publication, okay, where I help marginalized leaders, okay, find their voice, okay, to elevate your influence and visibility so we can excel in all the areas of our lives, okay? All right. And so today I am honored to have Ilham here with me today, okay? And hi, AJ. And Ilham is going to introduce herself. She's a successful engineer, entrepreneur, writer, among other things. So I'm gonna let her tell her story, okay? Ilham, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you for having me. I know we were meant to do this a few months ago, but you very gracefully accepted postponing it on account of some of the things I was going through at the time. So very, very happy we finally get to do it today. So let me introduce myself. I should really have like some kind of introduction made and learned because I never know how to start and where to start from. So yeah, you mentioned I was an engineer. My name is Ilham. I'm Moroccan and French. I have both nationalities, but I was born and raised in Morocco. I now live in Spain, in San Sebastian, Spain, the beautiful West Country. I am an engineer by day and a writer by night and on the weekends. And I write for sensitive people. I am a highly sensitive person myself, trying to guide them as I learn myself in this path, crazy path that is life, how to find ourselves back, how to, get back to a place of calm, a place of clarity. And some of the things I talk about in the publication are emotional intelligence, how to gain self awareness. And the publication is called 1% Wiser. I don't know if I mentioned it. And I think that I really like that name because it kind of ties everything nicely. It's in Wiser, there is knowledge, there is experience, there is maturity, many of the things that I write about. So, yeah.
What I like about 1% Wiser is because you have uh made simplified it as far as okay, because sometimes that can be overwhelming. So if you
Yeah.
get 1%, it's better than none. Okay?
That was my objective. Exactly. Yeah. I really like, I love you clapping for me, Margaret. It is
Okay.
amazing to be cheered on in this manner. But yeah, so for me, that entire idea of not being overwhelmed by, overwhelming goals and just taking it one step at a time, getting better 1% every day can get you very, very far. It's certainly been my experience with many things in my life in general. So I really strongly believe in that. Hmm.
And every time I come across that 1% Wiser, I'm like, yes, that is a win, and I'll take it.
Yeah,
Okay?
we'll take
I'll take
any
it.
win we can. Yay.
Absolutely. And we accomplish that through consistency.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You can get a lot more done and you can make much more progress by doing just a tiny little bit every day, by lowering the threshold for what represents valid progress, than doing like a lot, but I would say like in a more concentrated way once in a while. I guess is the premise of 1% Wiser.
Absolutely. So then at the end of the day, we have set ourselves up for success and to build upon that tomorrow, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly right.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So today we're talking about emotional intelligence for highly sensitive leaders. And as you know, mostly everybody should know by now that I am a highly sensitive person.
Oh,
Okay.
I did not know that.
I am.
Interesting.
I am.
Interesting.
Yes, I am an
I'm
empath.
even more excited about our conversation now, Margaret.
Yes, yes. So that's why sometimes you see me disappear because I need to step back and reflect and see what's going on. I need to understand what's going on behind the mask, behind the decisions, behind the behaviors.
Hmm.
Okay? Because that's where we are able to shine the mirror on ourselves and say, okay, I screwed this up. Okay. I let my triggers and my behaviors get the best of me.
Mm-hmm.
So, what can I do instead?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so the thing is, self awareness becomes it's a superpower, not a liability.
Mm.
Okay,
Always.
because being an empath and highly sensitive, we see things other people don't see.
Mm.
Okay, we hear things we're not supposed to hear.
Mm.
Okay, and we say things that make people uncomfortable. Good. That forces people to look at their insecurities instead of looking outward and pointing a finger at me and you. Look within yourself.
Margaret, I'm very curious. If you want to share, of course, how did you first come to know that you were a highly sensitive person? Was there a specific moment, or maybe just like you kind of came to that realization over time?
I came to that realization when I was a child,
Okay.
because things that affected me, other people, it didn't bother them. And they like, people, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why are you so sensitive? You
Yeah.
know, get over it. Okay? It
Mhm.
happened.
Yeah.
I just kept holding on to these things, trying to figure out why me? Why these things happen to me?
Mm.
What did I do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah. Why am I different?
Right. Right.
Mm.
And when people see you're different than them, that threatens people. Okay?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and there is a stigma to it, right? To the word sensitive. Like the way in our culture, that word comes with like a load. When we talk about people that are sensitive, it almost sounds as if they were too sensitive, or they overreact, or they can't take a joke. Um, so there is this negative, I feel like, kind of feel to that word that isn't really true. And you said it yourself, it always also come with like an enhancer, so sensitive, too sensitive. um so I completely know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just what you said. People say all these things about you, and then that makes you feel like you less than everyone else.
That something is wrong with you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
because the people are telling you these things are evil themselves. And
Yeah.
they know that you can see behind their mask and
Mm.
behind their false sense of being.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And
Is they
so
saying, I hate my high sensitivity as a man and I feel like weak. Also, there is this other connotation to the word sensitive as a soft, thing, as almost as a feminine thing, and which also makes it for many men who are highly sensitive, it makes it even more difficult for them. It
It
alienates
does.
them even more, right?
It does because men, if we remember, they were taught not to cry, to suck it up,
Be a
to
man.
be exactly.
Yeah.
And they're crying inside. They want to be loved, nurtured, and cared for just like we do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you have siblings, you can see how each of them are treated differently and sometimes even pitted against each other.
Hmm.
Okay? For the sake of comparison or competition, or because
Yeah.
your parents are maybe sadistic and get off on it. I'm
Mm.
just talking about how it is. Because I
Mm.
had a sibling too.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize the competitiveness between us. He was older than me. Okay?
Mm.
But I was ostracized. Okay?
Hmm.
And I was abandoned at birth. So you are automatically the chosen one who is in everybody's eye considered the exceptional one. Why? Because you're male, because you're good looking, because you're a go-getter or whatever. And then I look at him honestly, and I say, I came up with the understanding, oh, he's a narcissist too. He has to dim my light and push me down to make himself feel superior. Okay.
Mm.
I was not allowed to go to his house. Okay. When I come to town, no, you can't come here. I can't see your kids. I can't be a part of this family, even though I was born into it. We have the same mother, which makes us whole by mother. Okay.
Mm.
So I didn't mean to go off to this, but we were
Yeah.
talking about being highly sensitive. Okay, now you
Hmm.
come back after I decide to retire. Now you want to come and see me? No, I just can't see you because I don't understand how you can forsake me all of these years, yet and still form a close relationship with my daughter.
Mm.
Okay, and now you want to bring your wife to visit me? No, you didn't have any conversation for me, okay? And you chose to have a relationship with my daughter. Do you know how that made me feel? You
Mm.
reject me, but you have a relationship with my daughter.
Mm.
I got
Yeah.
over it because I got over it. You know why? Because it was drawing a wedge between me and my daughter.
Hmm.
Okay. And she told me, she's like, I don't want no parts of this. That's between you and him. And I was like, you're right. I'm not going to even mention it to you anymore because this still hurt me. And
Mm.
I cut him off. I cut his access off. And I said, until you can tell me why you did what you did to me when I was growing up, I'm not having nothing else to do with you, period.
Hmm.
So and a lot of people will say, well, Margaret, you're highly sensitive and maybe you taking things out of proportion or this. Nobody can tell you how you feel. Unless they walk a mile in your shoes, they need to shut the hell up. Okay?
Yeah. And for highly sensitive people, it's even more important to set healthy boundaries, to be selective about the people that we let into our lives, because, as you know, high sensitivity comes with a set of features that this group of people shares that makes us feel things deeper than non highly sensitive people would. We process things deeply, we notice the details, and it can be a superpower, and I think that in many ways it is. But when we give access to us to people who abuse it, that can also makes us feel the negative things strongly too. So
It does.
setting
It
boundaries
does.
is important for everyone, and I would say even more so for people who really are deeply affected by even the tiniest details.
I
So
am. It's not, I try to push it out, okay? And I try to push stuff down, stay professional and all of these things. And I'm dying inside. And I'm like, no, I can't. I have to let this stuff out because it prevents me from sleeping, from eating, um, and from trusting anybody really. So I had to go back to the drawing board and, you know, put it on the whiteboard. Okay, this is my mother wound. This is my father wound. Okay, this stuff. You come from this system of narcissism, and that's all you know. Okay, so how I dealt with it, I run. But you can't keep running. You get tired. You get exhausted. You have to stand up. You have to stop and stand up. I'm gonna tell you. One day I was at school because the kids used to pick on me because I was, I grew up after my mother gave me away. Then I stayed with my mother, my stepmother, and my father. And I used to go to school, and the kids used to be waiting for me outside, and I had to run home every day. Okay, from school. I couldn't tell my
Oh,
father
wow.
that I was getting beat up and harassed and everything. So one day they came my way. I don't know what happened because they said we can't let you leave early anymore. I said, well, can you let me leave 15 minutes early so I could get a heads up on the bullies? You know what I'm saying? And get home safely. So one day they came and I don't know what happened. So they cornered me. I don't know what happened when I came to myself. I had hit this bully upside the head with a brick. Okay, I'm like, well, they sent me to the principal's office and said, well, what happened? What you do this for? I was like, I told y'all I was being harassed, and you didn't do anything about it. Okay, so I did what I had to do. I'm gonna come out that corner one way or the other. It's me or her. So I hit her
Yeah.
upside the head. They didn't bother me no more after that. Okay,
How old were you
it's,
at the time? Do you
I was
remember?
in I was in elementary school or middle school, one or the other. I'm
Yeah.
just saying when people see that you're alone and that you're they look at you as weak and not realizing that until you do something to them that, oh, maybe I shouldn't have bothered her. Maybe I should have left her at home. And
Yeah.
that's why I started carrying myself a certain way after that. Okay. I started uh, carrying myself like I was strong and that I wasn't gonna take no shit from nobody. When you carry yourself like that, then people are like, I don't know, I don't think I'm gonna try her. I think I'll try another person instead. So I started getting tougher and tougher after each negative encounter I come up against, whether it was family or whether it was somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Well,
so you know so being sensitive we can sense all these undercurrents going on behind the scenes and people think that they're getting some shit over on us but they're not. What we're doing is we're preparing ourselves. We already prepared for battle. Okay, but we're preparing our exit plan. We always come up with our alternative plan. While they're planning our demise, we're planning our exit. But if I try to exit calmly. But if I have to use physical tactics, physical, mental, emotional tactics, I will, because I'm coming out alive, one way or the other.
yeah.
I'm not gonna be the one in the body bag. Okay.
Especially at that age. I mean, well, first of all, thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm sorry you had to go through that. It must have been terrible, especially as children. We're not really equipped for this kind of situations. And we have to improvise. And in your case, that meant hitting the booty with a brick, And I'm sure that carrying that fear after school. I mean, no child should go through that. And I'm sure it also made you who you are in a way, and it made you more resilient for sure. But you can perfectly be highly sensitive and resilient at the same time, highly sensitive and strong. I mean, again, one of the things that I want to achieve with my work, that I aim to achieve, is to also help build awareness around sensitivity so that people who are highly sensitive, just like AJ, who's telling us about his experience in the comments, um, so that all of these people who feel that it's a curse for them, that it's like, as if it was some kind of a flaw. I don't want them to feel that way anymore because it really is not. First of all, 30% of the population is highly sensitive. 30%. That's a third of the population almost is highly sensitive. We are not as much the exception as we think we are. Some people know they are, others don't, but the truth is we are. The other 30% is low sensitive, and then 40% are somewhere in the middle. But the highly sensitive ones are 30% of the population, and it does come with incredible positive aspects. For example, studies have shown that highly sensitive people have this, what they call, I think they call it the sensitivity boost. And what it means is that highly sensitive people benefit more from coaching, mentoring, positive environments, healthy relationships than non highly sensitive people. I mean, everyone would benefit, of course, but they do, because of their sensitivity, because of the many features that maybe we'll talk about later on, like depth of processing and paying attention to details and so many other aspects. They are able to process that health in a deeper way and make the most out of it more than other groups. So that's a real gift. We said that we would also talk about emotional intelligence. Now, being highly sensitive does not automatically make you um, emotionally intelligent, just like being tall does not make you a basketball NBA player, but it certainly helps. It does give you an advantage because high sensitivity and emotional intelligence do share um, share components. For example, one of the foundational aspects of emotional intelligence is self-awareness, having high self-awareness. People who have high self-awareness do better on other aspects of emotional intelligence as well and are able to learn them and benefit from them overall much more. And self-awareness is something that's almost embedded in highly sensitive people because we're constantly thinking about things, about our feelings, analyzing the way we feel, going deep, deep, deep. So you see how one thing gives you an edge over the other. So AJ, I really hope that hearing this makes you feel much better about your sensitivity. Even if you feel that it's a curse, it's really not. It's giving you so many advantages that you can really use in your life, in your daily life, and it makes you special.
It does. It does. And one of the things I recommend, which I didn't always do, okay, was to regulate before responding because you don't want to respond reactively. Okay, you want to respond from a position of strength.
Hmm. Of calm, right?
Absolutely, because that will aid with much better results.
Hmm. Always, always.
It's regulate and you calm down, come back to the present moment. Okay. If that
Mm,
takes meditation, if it takes going outside for a walk, a cup of coffee, whatever that is, it gives you chance to think about the situation.
mm,
What part did I play in this whole thing? What
mm.
could I have done differently, if anything? And then you can come with a response that can speak volumes. Because the less you say, the better. You don't want to be over explaining and all of that. I'm going to come up with something that's going to be
Mm.
plain and simple and you can understand it. And then I'm going to let it go and I'm going to move on.
I love that. I love that. I love everything you just said, Margaret. Um, it's so true. It's so true. One of my favorite quotes is Viktor Frankl's "Between stimulus and response, there is a space." And that space is really important because that space is what allows you to do what you just said. In that space, you get to choose how to respond instead of doing it on autopilot. You have the power. And how empowering is that to be able to choose which version of yourself you're going to present it in that moment? Is it going to be the screaming one that, puts their fist on the table? That could be an option. That could be the best option at the time. But at least it will be an option that you have chosen intentionally so that later on you can be proud of the way you showed up instead of regretting it and saying hurtful things that you'd never meant to say, for example. And at the very core of that, the very first step is having, again, going back to self-awareness, which, by the way, is a skill. High sensitivity is a genetic trait. That's not something that you choose, but emotional intelligence is not. We're not born some people are, of course, like any skill. Some people have more ease with it than others, but it is a perfectly teachable skill at any moment, any period, any time of your life. There's no expiration date on when you can become more emotionally intelligent. And so, self awareness being the key component of emotional intelligence is what allows you to, first of all, notice, oh, wow, I'm feeling that I'm getting really, really angry. My breathing is now very fast. I'm feeling this sensation in my chest, and I really feel like screaming. I'm shaking, and that's when you can be like, okay, I'm gonna step out for 10 minutes and do the exact things that you mentioned, Margaret. Breathe, meditate, grab a coffee, and just reflect on how I want to respond and not react. So yeah, we're
Abso-
aligned.
Absolutely, because I've learned these skills over time. Because sometimes people trigger you on purpose to to see what your response is going to be. That way they can go back. Because my previous employer did that. See, I told you she's an angry black woman. I'm just using this for example. She's an angry black woman, and she needs to go to counseling, or she needs some employee assistance. If you don't, if you take, I said, okay, I step out this meeting. I'm like, oh, okay, I have to go to the bathroom, guys. I'll be back, to gather yourself and everything else, because I'm not going to give you ammunition to use against me and say, see, okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. So what can you do instead? You regulate yourself, because you don't have no regulation over nobody else.
Mm. Yeah.
Don't give people the ammunition to use against you. Period. Okay?
Period. And
Be smart.
that's another fundamental aspect of emotional intelligence, Margaret, that you touch upon, and it's self-management. The ability to self-regulate, the ability to manage your own emotional experience. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely, because after you had a fight, say with a loved one, and you decided you've had enough and you're going to leave them, you don't tell them nothing. You've already prepared yourself
Yeah.
mentally before you make the acts. I don't tell them nothing. I'm be smiling. I'm be just. I'm gonna give you the best last supper that you will receive from me. Okay, and the next day when you go to work, you come home, I'm gone. You don't even know where I am. That's the way you roll. Okay?
Mm.
So the next thing we have to look at is emotional boundaries. Okay, that's a leadership skill. When you see somebody keep coming for you and they have nothing good about you, as far as this, they're envious of you and they're jealous of you, and they want to get rid of you. Okay, so for an employer, you can't cut them off, unfortunately, but I sure can leave. And that's what I did. I made my exit plan. I'm like, I'm getting the hell out of here, because once somebody show you who they are and the mask come off, I can't unsee what I saw. I can't unhear what I heard. And you meant everything you said. So I am going to follow that to verbatim. Okay? Then you know it's time to leave. There is no forgiveness, there's no nothing. There's just getting the hell out of there.
Mm.
Okay? And then after that, you cut them off. You cut off anybody associated with them. Okay? Because if birds of a feather flock together, okay? So you cut one off, you cut them all off, and then you become free to be who you are, and you choose what you want to do in life. Okay?
Mm.
We have to be happy with being disliked. I don't give a damn if you dislike me, as long as I'm at peace and I have joy and freedom. That's what I need to operate on a daily basis. And anything that's opposite of that got to go. Period. Don't settle for less than what you're willing to give. Okay?
Mm.
What you got to
Margaret, I'm
say?
curious. I'd be curious to know: were you always um, able to not care about the way people see you?
No, because I'm a highly sensitive person. I do care. But at the end of the day, you have to weigh it up. You have to weigh it up, your pros and cons, and see, okay, what's going to be the best for me and my wellness at the end of the day. And you have to decide, okay? Is it that person or your wellness? Okay? Because if you keep that person in your life, you ain't going to never have shit. Turn them off. Because when you cut the negativity out, then you open the door for positivity and love and peace and joy. Okay? That's what you choose. Not disrespect. Okay? You choose. This your life. We have free will. Do you want happiness or do you want misery? It's real simple. When I chose myself, when I chose self-respect and love over something that don't exist, that's when my blessings start coming. Okay? But the universe is not going to send anything your way until you clear out all the trash. Clear out all the trash. Okay? Once you clear out all the trash, then the universe will say, okay, now you're ready. Okay? But you got to get ready first. We have to get ready. You got something to say about that?
No, yeah, I was just listening to you, reflecting on what you were saying at the same time. Self-respect, I mean, you said it yourself. And of course, here we're talking about um, certain situations when certain people are 100% toxic, they're 100% hurting you either on purpose or they're not giving you the value that you deserve. Now, of course, we understand that not every situation in life is, things are sometimes across the spectrum. They can be a little bit more nuanced than that, right? But on what you were saying, I completely see what you're saying, of course. And if you yourself do not believe that you deserve to be treated with respect, it's going to be very hard for you to get to the point of setting healthy boundaries because you don't really believe that you deserve them. And making that ask, and you know I have to say, and from experience, it can be very difficult for certain people to place healthy boundaries. It can feel like a threat. It can feel like you're being selfish or cold, and that's because that's what's been embedded to you from a young age. Especially, I want to say, especially for women, especially for older or the oldest daughter, people who have been parentified, things like that. So it's a complex, I don't want to oversimplify things because I know that it's a complex issue. But if your whole life you've been taught that being good means being useful, being good means always taking into consideration other people's needs and placing them before your own, things like that, it's going to be difficult for you to draw a healthy boundary, to look at that person in the eye and be like, I don't want you to come to my house unannounced anymore because I have my own life and I have other things to do. I can't just leave everything on hold and take care of you. From now on, I would like you to give me a call before and blah, blah, blah. And you have that person looking at you like, oh, really? Like, you're being so arrogant right now. And you yourself need to know that you're not being arrogant, that your needs are valid, right? So, it is a difficult exercise, but it gets easier with time. And at the bottom of it, at the core, the foundation of being able to do that is to build your self esteem, your self respect, self love, self belief. Our common friend Sue Reed talks about a lot about this in her work. Shout out to Sue if you watch this, Sue, we're thinking of you. And highly
Absolutely.
recommend reading her stuff because she talks about this a lot. Now, for many people, it can seem like a huge mountain to climb. And once again, we go back to the 1% wiser, 1% progress every day. And it starts by first of all realizing that you actually deserve self-respect and you should love yourself more. And then from there, starting to make tiny promises to yourself and keeping them over time. And in time, maybe not immediately, but our brains, there is neuroplasticity. It means that we can build new pathways in our brain every day. We can show our neurons different ways to go. We can build habits, and we can ultimately find a way to a calmer and clearer life, I think. What do you think, Margaret?
Absolutely. Absolute baby steps. And we're talking about this because I struggle with this and I had suffered from trauma bonding. Okay. And a lot of times we become uh obsessed, okay, with these type of relationships because we don't think we deserve anything better. And any attention we feel that we get is better than nothing. I'll tell you this, I'd rather die alone than to have to deal with another narcissist relationship. I'll die
Mm,
alone because at least I'll be in peace. I'll have joy and serenity. Okay. And the chaos will be outside, not in my house and not
mm,
in my life. And because all the stress we're carrying around, it creates cortisol. And then we wonder why we can't lose weight, especially in the midsection. Okay. We're internalizing all this shit and it's giving us autoimmune disease, kidney malfunctions, mental health issues,
mm,
preventing us from eating, preventing us from sleeping, and it's just killing us from the inside out. Why hold on to this shit when it's killing you and and it's senseless? It takes time to rewire our brains because we have
mm,
grown so accustomed to this and we think we don't deserve anything better when we do.
mm,
And
mm,
until we face the fact that we do deserve better, we will continue to repeat the same cycles
mm,
over and over again.
mm,
And I said 2026, this is it. I'm putting myself first. I don't care who don't like it. Period. And I feel free for the first time in my life when I made those decisions. And each and every one of you deserve the same thing. Okay?
mm,
So we talked about these emotions, it's important for us to name these emotions early to prevent escalation. I'm angry. I'm hurt.
mm,
I'm disappointed. Okay?
mm.
When you can name that emotion and then it comes into your reality instead of internally, then you can address it.
Mm.
Just by naming it alone, you it helps to relieve the hurt o- inside that you're actually feeling. You come into to integrating. Okay.
Yes, 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 yes to all of it. When you name your emotions, you open the door to self regulation. How are you going to self regulate something you don't even know is there? Right? So, first of all, you name the emotion. And the more granular you can go, the more detailed you can go, the better. Um, so, I don't remember. I think most people, when they're asked to describe the way they feel, they either say mad, sad, and I don't remember the third one. Um, but there's a lot to mad and there's a lot to sad. Are you furious? Are you disappointed? Are you infuriated? I mean, are you annoyed? It's not the same thing. Different messages, different emotions will tell you different things. You are angry. Probably means that a boundary has been violated, for example. And that's why you're feeling angry, disappointed. You expected something and you got less than what you expected. What did you expect? Why did you expect it to begin with? Was it reasonable to expect that? Or was there a misunderstanding? Right? So it allows you to make a lot of sense out of your experience. Sadness, you have grief, you have, I don't know, shame. I mean, there's so many emotions across the spectrum. There are actually tools that you can use to help with that. There is emotional
Journaling.
wheels.
Journaling.
Journaling, right, right. But I mean, like, to specifically name and go granular because not everybody feels equipped to do that. It can feel quite, daunting to begin with. Like, I've never done this before. Where do I even start? And I'm trying to think of emotions, but all that comes to my mind is mad, sad. Nothing else comes to my head. So, there is such a thing as an emotional wheel of emotions, I think it's called, and it can help you just brainstorm what is it that you might be feeling. And once you know what you're dealing with, you know the animal you're dealing with, you can cater to it in the appropriate way. And let that emotion pass, understand it, understand what's going on inside of you, and get out of it faster and in a healthier way.
Absolutely, because a lot of times we refuse to. What we do is avoid it. What we deny that it exists, but that does not resolve the problem. It
No.
exacerbates the problem,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Yeah, it morphs. Those feelings, they morph into something else that they weren't supposed to be. So disappointment turns into silence that later turns into resentment, that fossilizes over many years until someday the gap between you and the other person is so big and so that it's you can't repair it anymore. Um, and as you said, the first inclination we have when we're going through difficult emotions is to escape them, avoid them. Where's Netflix? I'm grabbing the remote or scrolling. Like we have the modern world is providing us with so many ways to escape what we feel like. And I'm not even talking about substances like alcohol or cigarettes or whatever. I'm only talking about, Instagram, scrolling, watching TV, eating, overindulging in food, grabbing like a pint of ice cream and raging through it. And it does make you feel better in the moment. It does seem to soothe whatever is going on. It will come back. It will come back for you sooner or later, either through your sleep. I heard someone say that insomnia is like the body taking revenge because of those unacknowledged emotions that weren't dealt with properly. Um, or physically, you mentioned immune diseases. That's a very, very serious thing, and it's very true. There are people getting actually physically sick because of repressed emotions, because of things that weren't dealt with properly. Hmm. Knowledge is
Exactly.
power. Knowledge is power, and it's never too
Absolutely.
late.
Absolutely. So separate intuition from assumptions. Say, for example, strong intuition needs verification. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
to check the facts before acting on feeling, because sometimes I'll sense something is wrong. Okay, and then I'll have a check and like our government have this checks and balance system. Okay, I'll get a whiff of something, and then I'll start paying more attention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and cross reference the other things that I'm sensing. Okay, and then the ultimate decision maker is my body. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I was recently around somebody and I was feeling some heaviness, and it was really 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 dark. And then I like, okay, this is not good, so I need to look at this closer. And then I started putting the pieces together, and I was starting to see pattern recognition. Then I said, okay, I'm just going to eliminate this situation that I don't have to worry about it anymore. Next, boom. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts?
How did you? I'm curious again. Very curious. How did you eliminate the situation? What was your process like?
Okay,
First,
it's like,
you acknowledged in your body that something wasn't feeling right with this person, right? Then what happened?
right. Then I started putting the pieces together and looking at the associations between the pieces. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then when sometimes people can say a word and you say, "Oh, I heard that word before. Oh, it was used by this person over there, and that's the person that has been coming for me." Okay, then I'm like, "Was that a coincidence?" And then I have this darkness too, and I'm like, "No, it's starting to. I'm
Click.
not gonna. It's starting to click, and I'm not gonna give it too much time, you know, before I make a move and say, no, this got to go." Okay. I just wash my hands of that situation and then I move on to the next thing that I'm working on, especially if it's taking me away from what I'm trying to do. A lot of times there's people out there trying to take you away from what you're doing on purpose. Okay. But I'm not going to allow you to do that. So we're not
Mm-hmm.
going to have any conversation. I'm just going to cut you off and just move on. Okay. Because you don't have to confirm what you already know. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think what you're talking about here, you're mentioning different things. You're mentioning the notion of focus, putting your focus where you want it to be. You haven't identified a distraction, right? And and you said, no, this is going to be a distraction for me. It's taking me away from what I want to be focused on right now. There seems to be some maybe some bad intentions there. I don't know, but I'm not even going to investigate it further. I'm just going to put my focus elsewhere, right? And then
Yes.
there's the aspect of listening to cues from your body, from your something didn't feel right with you, and instead of just ignoring it, you paid attention to it, and that helped inform your decision. So that's maybe the wisdom of your mind and of your body that spoke to you in that moment.
Yeah, and my lived experience, especially when you see patterns that are the same. Might be a different person, but the patterns are the same and the results are the same.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to allow anybody to take me to the gutter or to the alley because I've been there before. I rose
Mm.
from that. I've been through the fire, and I'm not letting nobody else take me anywhere that I don't want to go. Period. Go
Mm.
there by your Go there by yourself and enjoy yourself while you're there. That's not my that's not the path that I'm on.
Mm.
Okay?
Understood.
Let no one take you off your path. I don't care how good it looks. I don't care if they say I'm gonna give you $1 million because you gain the world and lose your soul. And I'm gonna leave this world with my soul intact. Okay? Period. I don't compromise. When you start compromising, then you have to continue.
Mm.
Don't start it off. Don't start something that you're not willing to continue or to finish. I will
Mm.
finish it quickly, but I'm not going to continue down a path that I know that's leading me to self-destruction.
Yeah.
Okay? I didn't sign up for that
Mm.
when I could have. So why would I do that at this phase of my life? Okay?
Yeah,
So
especially
that's
given all the wisdom you've accumulated over the years, all the experience. Mm.
absolutely, absolutely. The thing is let's talk about empathy because being a highly sensitive person, we are very kind, we're very empathetic. Okay? But don't get it twisted. Empathy does not mean over accommodation. Okay? When I see that you're taking my kindness for weakness, that's when I draw the line. I'm not going to
Mm.
tell you, I'm just going to cut you off because common sense will tell you if we're in a partnership, this is a give and take relationship. This is not where I give all and you give zero. Okay?
Mm.
Empathy does not mean I am your doormat. Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
So a lot of people get twisted that highly sensitive people are doormats. We are not a doormat.
Never. Never. But yeah, I love that you mentioned empathy, Margaret. Empathy here, again, it's once again a concept that's going to be linked to high sensitivity and to emotional intelligence as well. And this is where highly sensitive people also come with an advantage that really, you know, makes them in an ideal situation to improve their emotional intelligence. And empathy is key in both aspects. Now, again, like many of the features, I keep talking about features, but many of those distinctive traits that highly sensitive people have, empathy is a very, very strong one. Um, it is a beautiful trait to have. I'm a highly empathic person, and I would still rather be highly empathic than not. Why? Because of so many reasons. It makes you build connections with people. It makes you kinder. It makes you excellent at an array of jobs of different kinds. It makes you smarter when it comes to understanding the other person's experience. And you will find empathy as a core, strength for emotional intelligence as well. Cognitive empathy. Am I able to tune in to your way of to your mental models, to your way of making sense of the world, to your language in a way that I can speak with you a language that you will understand? Again, very key for leadership. Am I able to tune into your emotional experience and put myself in your shoes and understand what you're going through? Am I going to be able to see you for who you are? So again, it's a very, very, very important skill in life, and for emotional intelligence even more. Now, again, as you said, highly sensitive people have an abundance of empathy, but then it makes them prone to other things that aren't maybe so easy to handle in daily life. Emotional contagion is one of them. We tend to absorb other people's feelings. You sit with someone who's sad, and all of a sudden you're just as devastated as they are, and you carry that sadness with you for many days, and it wasn't even your emotion to begin with. um and as you said, narcissistic people, any people who with bad intentions, again, these are not the majority, thank God, in the world, but we might come across them once in a while. uh they feed on this. They love us for this. We're the perfect praise for them. And even without taking into account the people with bad intentions, just in general, because we are people who get easily overstimulated, who can carry more than their own load, and God knows that life presents us with, enough load as it is. um it is important for us to be able to Michelle says she calls it the sponge, and Adaris is putting a symbol of a sponge. Yeah, yeah, it comes with its benefits, but at the same time it can leave you completely depleted and without resources to face what your own life is presenting you with. So once again, there, with some self-awareness, with proper boundaries in place, some practice, we can, and so many highly sensitive people live beautiful lives full of connections, and learn how to protect their energy.
That's so important because if we don't protect our energy and our time management, then how can we be successful running a business? How can
Hmm.
we be successful, running an organization
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
anything else for that matter,
Hmm.
including taking care of ourselves?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So don't personalize what isn't yours. What isn't yours, give it back to the person that it belongs to and let them carry it themselves, because we are carrying our own cross. And then we got to carry somebody else's too. That's too much. I'm not doing that no more. I get them their shit back. Okay? This is yours. You handle it. I am not caretaking or rescuing anymore because I'm taking care of myself and my clients. Okay? Reprioritize.
Hmm.
Putting yourself and your business first. Okay?
Yeah, and
Period.
trust in other people's ability to figure out things for themselves. This doesn't mean, of course, stop caring about other people, only care about your own problems, and um, anytime somebody tries to ask for your support, just send them and be like, no, don't tell me about your stuff. It's really more about investing the right energy. I love what Adari says. That's not my backpack. Exactly. Each one of us has their own backpack, but at the core of rescuing is the belief that the other person cannot rescue themselves, which is not necessarily true. You can be there, you can support them for a while, um, and then you can trust in their own ability to grow and to solve their own problems. Now, of course, help them if you can, and if they deserve it, and if they have shown appreciation for your help, and especially if they have shown a will and a clear intention to improve their situation. Because a lot of people, they just like to do what is called emotional dumping, which is, I just take all my emotions, I dump them on you, you start giving me solutions, I'm going to reject every single one of them because my goal is not to solve my problem. I'm comfortable in my bad situation. Getting out of it means the unknown. I don't want to be in the unknown. I want to be comfortable, but I want you to lend me your ear for hours and hours and let me use you as my emotional bin. And this is what, for us highly sensitive people, can leave us really, really depleted. I have had conversations haunt me for days, sometimes weeks, with someone who has no intention of making any change whatsoever. So that's where boundaries are important, and awareness is really key, so that we can protect that flame that we have inside of us, and use it strategically.
Absolutely. Also, use reflection as a tool, not a trap.
Mm,
Okay? Because before I make any major decision, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to deliberate on it. I'm going to see, I'm gonna look at everything. Scan my body. I'm gonna scan everything before I make a final decision. And then even after that, any paperwork, I want to see the contract. I want to see everything. I want everything up front. The expectations, because you're not gonna come back here and expect nothing from me, because I'll walk out on you and cut you off, and you'll never hear from me again. I'm not going through
mhm.
that stuff again. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, model emotional literacy for others. And every time I experience some type of things in my life, challenges or roadblocks, I want to share them with you so I can help you to see, okay, well, she told us about that. Maybe I need to look into that and see how that fits me. Because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay? Because the truth sets us free. Okay? And that's who I am. I'm not going to lie to you or sugarcoat
Mhm,
anything. Okay?
mhm, mhm.
And we also need to choose our environments and associations wisely. Okay? If something is not in alignment with your principles, who you are, what you want in life, don't deal with it. Okay? Period. Don't compromise.
Mm,
That's it. And courage includes emotional honesty.
yeah.
So, do you have anything to say about any of those things, Ella?
I have so many things to say, I don't even know where to start. No, but the notion of emotional literacy is key. I really wish for, I think that honestly, as a society, if we were more emotionally literate, if from a very young age we were told about emotions, how important they are, how much they're going to drive our life, um, the different emotions that there is, how to deal with them properly in a healthy way, etc., etc. As a society, we would be healthier, physically healthier. We would be thriving in our relationships. There would be less divorces, less trauma, less bullies. There would be the world would be much better, which is why I really love talking about this stuff as much as I can. Emotional honesty is a form of courage. Yes, absolutely. Any kind of honesty carries courage, especially if you're going to be honest in the face of scrutiny, or in the face of people who are not really ready to hear your truth. So, but it's always going to be worth it. And courage is fear in motion, right? Do it scared. Do it even if you're uncomfortable. Prepare for the conversation and do it anyway. Do your best. A lot of people, I feel, avoid difficult conversations because they don't feel that they have the language for it. We live in the age of abundance of information. AI, chat GPT. Prepare the conversation, think about the words you're going to use to describe your emotional experience, and do it anyways, and it's always going to be worthwhile, especially if you're vulnerable. If you show, as humans, we're wired to respond to vulnerability with more vulnerability, which builds connection. It's terrifying, I know it is, but always worth it. Always. Yeah.
Absolutely. And each time you get the courage to do it, and afterwards you will feel a little better. You'll feel a little bit more confidence in yourself, and you're showing people that you're not just going to accept anything, and that you put yourself first. And then people will start to respect you and look at you differently. It's like, oh, okay, you are a partner now, and you can sit at the table and play your
Yeah.
part. Okay?
Mm. Yeah. You give a different energy. You give out a different energy when you speak out of from a place of self-worth, of confidence. Absolutely. Yeah. Margaret, I gotta tell you, I'm loving our conversation, but my phone is slowly dying on me. So I'm just giving you a little heads up, because I don't want to be cut off in the middle of the conversation. Shall we wrap it up?
Yes, yes, we will. So you all will, Ilham is on Substack. She's been on there longer than me, so I'll make sure to include her link. Okay, when I publish the article. Thank you so much, Ilham. This has been an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I want to thank you.
It's always a joy to speak to you, Margaret. Thank you for having me. And thank you to
Yes.
everyone in the audience who's been leaving comments and interacting with us. Let's do this again soon. I would love to discuss as many topics as you'd like. And thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Empowered Leader, where we lift marginalized voices and the people who support them. If today's episode fired you up, share it with someone ready to lead with courage and conviction. Follow the show for more power-packed insights. Connect and subscribe to iProfessional Coach on Substack for tools to elevate your leadership journey. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and keep using your voice for impact.